Hey guys, welcome to the dating game with myself, Troy Francis, and today we're going to get straight into the topic, which is how women choose who they have sex with. Well, according to Why Women Have Sex by Dr. David Buss and Cindy Meston, there are 237 reasons why women choose to have sex. And listen, as much as I'd love to sit here and go through all 237 reasons with you, we don't have the time. We haven't got the capacity. So I'm going to go through some of the key ones that you can bear in mind and learn from and just put into application in your own dating life. I would, however, recommend reading Why Women Have Sex. It's a very interesting book and there's some kind of eye-opening stuff in there and you will definitely learn a lot. In saying that, what are some of the key reasons? Why is a woman gonna choose to have sex, right? You're a dude, you're out there, it's the dating scene, it's 2024, you think it's all hopeless. It's like, oh my God, am I ever gonna meet that girl, that special girl? You know, what is she looking for? Well, look, I mean, and this is not meant to be a sop to the black pill crowd at all, but physical attributes, certainly for short-term mating opportunities, are significant. Okay. It's gonna be down to what you look like, in part. Okay. The better looking you are, the more of a chance you're gonna have, certainly as a short-term prospect, okay, for quick and immediate sex. And that's why we always bang on about how important it is to look after yourself, right? To keep in shape, okay, to be in the best possible physical condition you can be in, okay, to be decent looking, all right, to be well groomed, to be well dressed, to present yourself in, you know, as an attractive a way as you possibly can, and to look smacks. You know, people talk about look smaxing, which is basically just doing various cosmetic things to make yourself appear better, right? People talk about look smaxing as if it's this sort of amazing magical thing. To me, it seems like a no-brainer. You absolutely should be looks maxing for sure. Okay. You should be doing everything in your power to ensure that you look as decent as possible. Okay. So that's number one. Obviously, you know, the way you come across, the way you look, the way you physically are is going to make a difference. That is not to undermine, however, understanding of game and the way that you move through the world. All right. Because yes, you can be great looking, but if you're just standing at the back of the bar and not talking to anybody and you're a bit of a wet blanket, then sure, you might get some opportunities, but you're also going to miss out on a lot too. So you also need to work on your game, but let's not underplay the importance of looks in this equation. The second one is discretion. Okay. Women will choose to have sex with men who are not going to blab about it all over the place. Okay. Very, very important, particularly if you meet her in a work context or if you meet her in, you know, you guys are part of the same class or you're part of the same group or the same activity or whatever it is. Okay. She needs to know that you are going to keep your mouth shut and you're not just going to be talking about her, you know, all over the internet or whatever, or, you know, with your friends or with your peer group or whatever it is. You are going to have to exercise discretion. Okay. She wants a, women will often say this, I want a man, not a boy, right? And part of that is being somebody who's not going to be like, well, hey, and just boasting about the fact that he's got laid like an immature teenager. Okay. This is about being discreet, you know, you guys having a good time together, but you're not going to be just telling people about it and make it into this big thing that it doesn't need to be. All right. Um, and then we go into some of the things that were identified by mystery. Eric von Markovitz, you know, who famous from the book The Game and from the Mystery Method and so on, one of the earlier sort of pickup gurus, if you like. And he talked about various different attributes that make men attractive. The first of them is being a leader of men. Okay. So, you know, what is your status within your peer group, within your particular hierarchy? Okay. Are you at the top of that hierarchy? Or at least do you command respect within that hierarchy? Okay. So when you walk into the room, do people listen to what you have to say? Do people take you seriously? Do people talk over you or do they listen and do they really take on board what it is that you're conveying? Okay. The more of that that you've got, not just about other, you know, the other women present, but the other guys as well, the more seriously that they take you, the more attractive she is going to find you. And really, if you're in some kind of position of power, and this is why CEOs get laid, this is why the bosses of big companies get laid and so on, because they are leaders of men, literally. Okay. They are in positions of power over other guys, and women inherently find that very attractive. Okay, it goes back to the old primordial caveman days, right? The chief at the top of the tribe will be the one who had all of the sexual opportunities because he was the one who controlled all of the other dudes. Okay, he's the most powerful one. It's the same with kings and leaders and politicians and all this kind of stuff. The second thing though is pre-selection. So, are you also sought after by other women? To bring it down to the old cliche, basically, you need to be the guy who, yes, you are admired by men and you're also desired by women. Okay, so is there some evidence that you are good with women, or you at least you've had previous success with women? Because she doesn't really want to pick up some also ran who never gets any action and is not admired by anybody and nobody else wants, right? Why would she want to be with that dude? She's going to elect to have sex with a guy who has had other sexual opportunities in the past, because in her mind, or it's somewhere in her understanding, she's going to think, okay, well, this dude, there must be something good about him because these other women have selected him for sex, and so therefore I'm going to do the same thing. Okay, so pre-selection, very important. There's this whole sort of wave of people talking about social circle game now, having this amazing Instagram, we're surrounded by models and you guys are all at parties and all this kind of stuff. It can be very, very powerful. Okay, it can be very, very powerful because it presents you as being somebody who is is pre-selected, is found desirable by other women. Now, it might be that you're just friends with those other women and nothing's actually happened, but just giving that impression is hugely powerful. Okay, so something to bear in mind. The next one is protector of loved ones. Okay, are you somebody who is likely to be able to protect both her and any notional offspring that might come about as a result of your union? Okay, now if we're talking about a one night stand in Cancun, then probably there's not going to be any offspring created as a result of that. But you know what I mean? Like, there's that primordial thing in the back of our heads, in our hindbrains, and she's going to be thinking, okay, so in this potential scenario where we did procreate, is this guy going to step up to the plate and protect me and the potential child that results from that? All right, so you have to look like not a wuss. You have to look like somebody who's going to be prepared to stand their grounds. This is why we often recommend getting into some kind of combat sport, or at least practicing some sort of martial art, so that you can, defend yourself, or at least give the appearance of being able to defend yourself. I think that's the important thing. Okay, and this goes back to the respect that we talked about before. Okay, if you are seen as being a leader of men, then it is likely that you are also somebody who commands respect for other reasons. That might be because of your physical appearance, or your size, or your likely agility, or your fighting ability, or whatever it is. Okay, so you want to have those qualities as well, but also just fundamentally seem to be the kind of bloke who is gonna be there if the shit hits the fan. Okay, she wants you. Women are very emotional. Women are very all over the place. It's like this and then it's like that. One minute she's laughing, then she's crying. There's this happening, that happening. You have to be there like the oak tree. Okay, you have to be the solid center of the world as far as she's concerned. To use the old cliche, you have to be her rock. Okay, in difficult times. That is the key thing. What's next? Willingness to walk away. I've talked about this in pretty much every video, right? You have to be willing to walk away. Why? Because if you're not, then she's going to know on some intuitive level that she can do whatever she wants. You're still going to be there, and that's going to make her lose respect for you, okay? And then she's going to lose attraction, and once she loses attraction, then all is lost, okay? So you have to remain sharp, and you have to have that willingness. Not desire to walk away. You want to be with her. You want this thing to work, but you have to have that willingness to walk away, that ability to walk away if it becomes necessary for whatever reason. Okay. Um, and the final one is, you should look like you are a successful risk taker. Okay. So women like guys who take risks, okay, who go against the grain in society, who don't necessarily do the expected thing. They're not necessarily just doing what society dictates, like a good little boy, like everybody else is, okay? And this is why women love people like rock stars, or guys who do crazy kind of extreme sports, or, people that just go against the grain of society in various different ways. Women love that. Okay, it's exciting, it's unpredictable, it's challenging, it's different. Okay, however, you also need to be somewhat successful at doing it, because if you do it and you're also a loser, then you're just a loser. Okay, I mean that's why the crack addict on the street corner isn't really getting much female attention because yes, he's taking a risk. He's taking a risk with his health. He's taking a risk legally against the law. He's an outlaw in society, whatever. But he's also somebody who's stoned out of his head and not making any money and sitting in a street corner. So, he is an example of somebody who's a risk taker in some ways and an outlaw and a rogue in society in some ways. But he's also unsuccessful as well. So that's not an attractive archetype. But if you're a risk taker, you put, $10 million into a company and then it blows up and you make, billions off the back of it, then you are a risk taker, but you are a successful risk taker, and that is incredibly attractive. It's the it's the Wolf of Wall Street paradigm. Okay, you want to be that guy. Okay, you want to be that dude who takes things to the max. Okay, and she comes along for the ride. That is incredibly impactful. So those are the kinds of guys that women are going to select to have sex with. Okay, there's often a combination. So people will talk about short-term mating opportunities versus long-term mating, and women will select slightly differently for each. So in other words, she might have sex with the hot Chad guy at the Cancun phone party just because he's got 12-pack abs and he looks good and nobody's going to find out and it's a good time, whatever. Okay. If she's considering longer term, if she's considering marriage, she's likely going to be looking at slightly different things, like what is his provisioning ability? Is he going to look after me? Has he got a serious job, or is he in a career that's going to make money and support me and any children? And she's going to be these things, and maybe somebody who's a bit more sensible as well. The slightly more boring attributes. Let's be honest. The kind of guy who's not going to be out partying every single night and spending all of his money and gambling and doing all this kind of shit. Okay. Ideally, she would like to find a little bit of both in the same guy. The guy who is a bit exciting, but he's also got the stable provisioning side of things. Regardless, anyway, frequently it's divided into these two camps. Women will have sex either for the short-term fun or the longer-term provisioning as being part of a relationship. I personally believe that there's an overlap between the two, to be honest. I think that at any point, she's sort of analyzing you on both levels at the same time. Yes, she's looking at you, okay, is this dude attractive enough for me to want to have sex with him anyway, just for the fun of it? But also, she's going to be keeping half an eye on, okay, but if things were to go further, if this was to become something more serious, does he also have the other bits? And ideally, you want to be displaying bits of both. Okay, so you want to be displaying bits of, yes, I'm the fun, exciting, unpredictable risk taker type dude, but also yes, I've been successful enough that I'm able to afford some decent clothes and live in a nice place and whatever it is. So if you could show a bit of both at the same time, that really is catnip because then you're covering all bases. Okay, and then the power is more in your court then, right? Because then you almost get to decide where this relationship goes. Is this just going to be a casual short-term thing, or is it going to be longer term and more serious? And this is when they say, women are the gatekeepers of sex, but men are the gatekeepers of commitment. Okay, and that's when you have the leverage. When you've got bits of the bad boy kind of player archetype about you, but also bits of the more sensible longer-term prospect also. You're covering off those bases, you are ticking those boxes, and, you get to decide where this thing goes with her, which is great. Anyway, hope this video has helped. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you've got any other reasons that you want to list why women commonly have sex, and let's face it, there's at least 237 of them, you can stick them below. Give me a like on the way out. Do hit subscribe to this video. Do hit notifications, and please share this on your social media platforms or share it with anybody that you think would find it helpful. See you again very soon. Bye-bye.